in defensive efficiency, yet they lead the NBA in fouls per game. Clearly, fouling is not a problem for a good defensive team. And Duran is fouled, and oh my goodness! And Moose is upset. Moose is really upset. I have never seen Musa Diabate like this. Goodness, now Miles and Duran and Beef Stew! This is out of control.
Oh, wow. Beef Stew's on the bench.
Isaiah Stewart's out of the, he'll be suspended for a while. He was on the bench and he came out just to draw a fight.
And with that, welcome in to another episode of Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. To my right, your left is Chad Bryan. I am Eli Moon. Excuse me. And we are still getting over the winter here in Ohio. But we are locked and loaded for another edition of Primetime. A lot of great stuff to talk about here tonight. And we're going to get started with some pretty exciting, however you want to look at it, controversial, exciting, whatever, news in the NBA. But before we get into all of that, Chad, it is Tuesday. How are we feeling? Another day here on Primetime.
Good. Hey, it was warm today. It was like 50 degrees outside today. I definitely felt the difference. I was moving around. I was like, hey, I can actually I can breathe. Things don't hurt. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I know it's not going to stay this way, but I did see some 40s in the forecast. So we're getting there. There's light at the end of the tunnel. All the snow and ice will be melted soon. It'll be hot. We'll be complaining about the humidity. We'll be happy, right? How are you doing today, man?
Oh, I'm doing good. Doing very well. I had a great edition of Conversations with Eli Moon. Aired at 7 o'clock. It's out on YouTube, on the Inside Edge Network, on all the socials. But I had it with DFG Soul. He's a gospel artist, and he came on the show and shared his journey and what he's got coming up. Real cool. I actually met him 6 years ago. 6 years ago at Cleveland Street Idol down at Rocket Arena when it was still Quicken Loans Arena. And he took first and got to perform pregame before the Cavs game. I took second in that competition, however you look at it.
Okay.
I stayed in contact since, and it was awesome having him on the show. So, go check it out on the YouTube on Inside Edge Network. And, it's been great. Been a good day. As you said, it's been a lot warmer than it has been in the past. And not as warm as it is in California, but we'll take it. However, in California, seems like there may be a little warm for other reasons, as there was a report today that came out that LeBron James will be ineligible for the All-NBA team, which will disqualify him from basically making 22 straight All-NBA teams, Chad. And I think that was a big enough story to bring up today because, when you talk about LeBron James, you talk about continued success, just the consistency, and now he's not going to be able to be eligible for the All-NBA team because of missing a lot of games early on in the season. I understand why the NBA put this threshold, the 65-game threshold in for, MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, all these awards. I get it. And I get it for the All-NBA team to a degree. They don't want to see load management. They don't want to see tanking. I saw Bobby Marks on ESPN talking about how the Utah Jazz are starting to really mess with the integrity of the NBA by just finding ways to lose and really not being sly about it. And now you look at, this, though, and this isn't the same as what the Jazz are doing. This isn't the same as what Kawhi Leonard was doing, a few seasons ago. And really, it feels like the last 3 or 4 seasons, 5 seasons, whatever. Kawhi Leonard's done that. And it really feels like this is different. This is LeBron missing the beginning of the year due to an injury. He's had to miss a few games here and there, but it's different. And now for him to not make his 22nd All-NBA team because of a newer rule, it may not be a big deal to people right this instant because it's like, okay, whatever. This is an All-NBA team. LeBron's older, haha. But LeBron's still averaging 21 points per game. He is still one of the most efficient players in the league, better playing than, like you said a few weeks ago, he's playing better than most 20-year-olds, or at least a good portion of them. And I just think this isn't good, Chad. This isn't a good look as far as, he's one of the greatest players of all time. You're supposed to tell me, looking back in history, that he wasn't one of the best players. I'm not saying first team, but I think it's crazy.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I mean, again, the games played threshold is fine. For MVP, Rookie of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, whatever, because you can't have a guy play 22 games, average 40 points a game, and okay, he's the Rookie of the Year, he's whatever, he's MVP. That's clearly not enough of a sample size. In this situation with LeBron James, I think we've had enough of a sample size of his career. I think that we can see that at 42 years old, like you said, 21 and a half points, whatever, 21, basically just call it 22, 6 and 6. At 40 plus years old, 42 years old is wild. I think, I get it. LeBron's a polarizing guy. It's a polarizing topic for whatever reason. But he deserves to be all NBA, right? I don't know. I mean, I guess if you could probably go out there and find a 4, maybe playing a little better right now. I don't know. I kind of see both sides of this argument, but I think LeBron should be there. I just come on, man. I mean,
yeah, and it's for right now, Chad, it may not be a big issue right this instant because LeBron on the way out, near the end of his career.
Yeah.
But you look at it, okay, what happens when this is Donovan Mitchell potentially in Cleveland if he has, a stretch where he's injured for a stretch, but he plays lights out basketball for 58, 60 games. What happens if any of these big stars have this happen? I think the NBA is almost overcorrecting the situation, and that's where I think they're going wrong. You look, if you want to monitor the league, and there's a lot of reasons to monitor the league right now in sports in general. I mean, we see with, the NBA gambling investigation going on with Terry Rozier, Damon Jones, those guys, Chauncey Billups. Yeah. You see, even in MLB, Emmanuel Clase, Guardians closer. You see
that got out of hand quick, didn't it?
Yeah, but you look at that. Monitoring the league should definitely be a thing right now. But you're telling me you can't keep an eye on if a guy has 5 games in a row of rest? Or, I mean... I just don't understand why it seems like they're overcorrecting the situation to now make it where one of your greatest players in league history is being told he's not one of the top 3 squads, basically, when you put him up there all NBA wise. So it don't make a whole lot of sense to me either, my friend.
No. And what is he on a pace to play game wise? Like if he played the rest of the season out, do we know? Is he going to be at 60? Is he at 64? Like, did he just go under the 65 game threshold? I mean, he started the season on what? Hey, he had sciatica, right? I mean, that's a legitimate. Yes. I mean, I get it. It sounds like an old person problem a little bit, but trust me, it's painful. Like I know that's a very painful thing. That's not load management, right? That's not like sitting LeBron when they go to New York and you've sold out, Madison Square Garden and nobody gets to see LeBron play. Like I understand the load management problem in the NBA. Like you said, plus, the whole situation with Terry Rozier and everyone, the gambling thing, plus the fact that the TV numbers are just that TV contract is astronomical. People are paying big, big money to see these guys play. They don't want to watch them not play. So I completely understand the NBA's side of the trying to manage the situation. But I think you're right. I think maybe it is a little bit of an overcorrection when a guy like LeBron James is not named at any level. It doesn't have to be first team, whatever, just any all NBA team. Again, the numbers at 42, just they would suggest it should be otherwise. Maybe this should be for, like I said, Rookie of the Year, MVP, just the tangible single player awards, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it sure does. And you know what, Chad? I think, looking at this, you asked about LeBron first off and asked about if he would make the threshold. So he sat out tonight. That's what made him ineligible. He had arthritis in his left foot. I mean, he is 41 years old, so I can understand. He's been playing since he was a teenager. So
yeah,
I get it. But that's what made him ineligible. If he would have, including tonight, if he would have played every game the rest of the season, he would have had exactly 65 games.
Okay.
So
he's going to be just under maybe, or a couple games, because what's the point now? I mean, honestly, now you might as well load manage, right? I mean, what's the point? Once you hit the threshold, I don't know.
Yeah. It gets tricky, and so we'll keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on a whole lot more here. We just wanted to start the show off with some NBA news here for you. When we come back, we're going to get into a whole lot of Olympic coverage. We have our program director, AA Anthony Alford. He is going to give his Olympic update. Chad and I are going to discuss some cool stories we saw throughout the day. A little scandal out on, the Olympics. And I mean, you wouldn't think there'd be a scandal and it wouldn't be performance-based. Actually, somebody won. It wasn't a scandal how they won, but what they said after was a little confusing. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about our top 5. We are going to debut Tuesday, top 5 here on the Inside Edge Network, Inside Edge Primetime. And today we're going to talk about running backs. So we'll talk about that later on. We did talk about Kenneth Walker, the Super Bowl MVP, and we'll see what our discussion is and who our top 5 ranking is. We decided to come up with our top 5. We'll do that every week. This week, running backs. But, Chad, before we get into all the rest of the show, we let everybody get a refreshment. Yes. We did mention yesterday is the holidays coming up, right? And with the holidays coming up, obviously, there's some gift ideas that you got to think of with Valentine's Day, and I couldn't think of no other gift that I would be able to get somebody that I cared about than a candle. Here's why. A candle, you can't go wrong. There's so many great scents, and if you go check out our newest sponsor, Alley Rose Fragrances, you'll be able to see amazing scents here from candles, body mists, aromas, and we're running an awesome, awesome deal right now with Alley Rose Fragrances. If you use our discount code, InsideEdge20, right there at the bottom, InsideEdge20, you get 20% off all orders. So go ahead and get a Valentine's Day gift. Check out the selection, and we'll go ahead during the break. We'll show you some of the candle selections and just what there is offered at Alley Rose Fragrances, the newest sponsor of Inside Edge Network. But yes, Inside Edge 20% off your order. All right, Chad, we're going to take a quick pause here. We had a little bit, usually we run a longer first segment. I think today we're going to we did a little sprint. When we come back, we're going to really dive into the Olympics and what's going on over there. We'll hear from AA Anthony Alford. We'll hear from Chad and I. This is Inside Edge Primetime in the Inside Edge Network, and we're back right after this.
All right, Olympic update time. Inside Edge Network. Anthony Alfred here with you. Sterling Hole LeGreg, I believe that's his name. He won the bronze medal for Norway. And he's at the podium, and so major accomplishment. And then he revealed, and Chad and Eli, they'll play the video in just a few moments, admitted to cheating on his girlfriend. Now, meanwhile, 6 months, a 6-month relationship, 3 months in, cheated. And then competed in the Olympics, and then used I can't believe this, used the post-game celebration, the medal celebration, to publicly admit that he cheated on his girlfriend. I don't have a strong take other than this man is stupid. And this also proves the point that maybe a lot of athletes, a lot of people that we cover, a lot of us are stupid. He won a medal, but he lost a gold medal in his life, I guess. But I'll be honest. I'll just be brutally honest here. You cheated in your relationship 3 months in? Like, that's still the honeymoon phase. 3 months in? And my dude needs help. But they could deal with that in Norway, who, by the way, leads the medal count. They have 12 medals overall. They have the most out of all the countries so far. 6 gold medals. They have the most of that as well. So Norway is leading the medal count. And they got some public cheaters on their team representing their country. So good for them. Not to say that that's not exclusive to Norway, but at least I guess Norway is the country that confesses and tells the truth about everything. Eli and Chad, back to you.
Sturla Holm Lægra, gratulerer så mye med OL-bronse. Hvordan har du det? Det er stort. Det er min første OL-medalje. Og jeg vil takke alle som har hjulpet meg på veien. Smørerne for en kjempegod skidag, og hele familien som har backa meg. Og så er det en jeg ville dele det her med, som kanskje ikke ser på i dag. For et halvt år siden så møtte jeg mitt livs kjærlighet. Verdens vakreste, fineste person. Og for 3 måneder siden så gjorde jeg min største tabbe og var utro mot henne. Og det fortalte jeg for en uke siden. Og det har vært den verste uken i mitt liv. Så jeg hadde gullmedalje i livet. Det var sikkert bare mange der nå som ser på meg med andre øyne. Men jeg har kun øyne for henne. Jeg vet ikke hva jeg vil frem til å si det her nå, men...
And welcome back to Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. Chad Bryan to my right, your left. I'm Eli Moon, and wow, we have a lot to unpack. Shout out to AA Anthony Alford, Program Director of the Inside Edge Network, for his Winter Olympics update. Thank you so much. And courtesy of that Twitter update, or video we saw from Twitter, from Daily Loud, all over the internet, that was Norwegian biathlete Sturla Holm Lægra. Chad, he met the love of his life, and then he cheated on her 3 months in. And you know what? Not good. That's the starters.
No, it's funny. Wait, Eli, I got to say, it's funny that our Olympic coverage began with people injecting a certain area with something, and now it's moved on to people injecting their area. And I'm going to go with that another way. Okay, let's just break down what AA said, first of all, because I got the feeling that this wasn't like the first admission, right? Like she knows, right? She knew about it. This was an apology, right? This was the apology. This wasn't him going up on the medal, like on the news and with the whatever that was. I don't speak Norwegian. There were captions. I can only really assume, but it's hard to hear tone of, I don't know the language as well. But that was the apology, right, Eli? That wasn't the first admission. That couldn't have been the first admission. That's not the way he brought that to the world. That's like proposing to your girlfriend in front of the entire arena at a basketball game, right? When you're not quite sure what she's gonna like. You don't do that. You don't do that. He didn't do that, did he? That's not what he did. That's the apology, right?
Just to make sure I'm not tripping, I don't want to make conclusions off the first watch of the video. I watched it on it, but like off air, but like just you put me on the spot. Let's watch it one more time.
Sturlorm Legra, gratulerer så mye med OL-bronse. Hvordan har du det?
Nei, det stort. Det min første OL-medalje. Og jeg vil takke alle som har hjulpet meg på veien. Smørerne for en kjempegod skidag, og hele familien som har backa meg. Og så det en jeg ville dele det her med, som kanskje ikke ser på i dag. For et halvt år siden så møtte jeg mitt livs kjærlighet. Verdens vakreste, fineste person. Og for 3 måneder siden så gjorde jeg min største tabbe og var utro mot henne. Og det fortalte jeg for en uke siden. Og det har vært den første uken i mitt liv. Så jeg hadde gullmedalje i livet. Det var sikkert bare mange der nå som ser på meg med andre øyne. Men jeg har kun øyne for henne. Jeg vet ikke hva jeg vil frem til ved å si det her nå, men...
That's the apology. That's the apology because she's not watching.
Yeah, those were the words of a man who's been thinking about that for a while and was like, "Hey, if I tell the whole world, then that was the Eminem moment, right? That was the B Rabbit. Tell these people something they don't know about me, right? Now what?"
Yeah, I mean, he apologized. I mean, because he said she might not be watching, and he said he gave up the gold medal in life. Well, he also did not win the gold medal in his event today. He took bronze. So,
there you go.
I mean, with that, I just don't know where to go. You took the moment, and this like you weren't on gold, you took bronze. Like maybe this moment's a little bit more impactful if you win gold. Like, hey, you know what? I messed up.
Yeah, and
that's not right. But I have a gold medal, and like I just don't know where he was getting with this.
Sure. Well, how do you think the reporter? Like you're in that situation. And you're asking him about he just medaled, right, in the Olympics, and that's the answer that comes out. What do you segue into? Like, what do you do in that moment?
You just
like, what were her next thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know. I think if you're the reporter, you just congratulate him on a successful bronze medal victory, and that girl may never have watched it back in Norway. Who knows? I mean, just what a crazy turn of events. And you know what? This took over the top talk of our Winter Olympics discussion because there was a lot of stuff that happened today, but I mean, my goodness, that seems to take the cake. But a lot of other stuff, Chad. And we were talking, Double A was on here on Primetime, a week or two ago, and he was talking about how we need to learn curling. Please, I would love for you to take the lead on this and talk to us about the U.S. mixed doubles team taking silver medal in curling today. In a pretty riveting game. I'm not necessarily asking for you to break down the X's and O's because we're still working on that on curling. But a pretty riveting game.
I would just honestly start putting football terms. I'd be like, well, listen, they played Sweden. Sweden spent most of the game in a 4-3. They dropped into. I saw a couple of nickel coverages out there. No, they lost 6-5 to Sweden. It was again. I don't know all the ins and outs and. I'm learning terminology. I'm learning about I'm kind of learning strategy. I have to relearn every 4 years when the Winter Olympics come back around. I'm like, wait, how does this work, right? And then you remember how to go about certain stones being in certain places or whatever. But Team Corey, the team, mixed doubles, Corey, TC, and Corey Dropkin lost 6-5. Just came up just short to Team Sweden, but won the silver medal. There's no. I don't mean to make it sound like there's any shame. Like they're bringing a medal home, and I think that's amazing. Again, they come from a curling club in Duluth. That's amazing to me that up in the northern United States there are curling clubs. I mean, there are places that people go to curl. That it amazes me that there are average people that are that flexible. Every delivery can't look like that in the curling club, right? Like can I just kick it with my foot? Do you think
No.
I mean, Is there? No, there's not a league where I can get away with. Okay, all right, like a 50 and over or something. I guess I have a few years, but all right, okay. Yeah. Anyway, they brought the silver medal home, and then one of my favorite stories: Layla Edwards, born right here. Well, not right here. That would be weird, but in Cleveland Heights, just in Northeast Ohio. Became the first Black woman to score a goal for Team USA against Canada. They shut Canada out 5-0. And I thought that was just a cool bit of history that we had to talk about. It's pretty amazing. She plays for the University of Wisconsin, but again, originally born in Cleveland Heights. So congratulations to Layla Edwards. That was really, really cool. And congratulations to Team Corey. I mean, silver medal is awesome. I know they probably felt a little disappointed, kind of just short. Man, they're right there. But what a great match. Like I said, 6-5. It was close all the way through. It was really fun. Just watched it during dinner a little bit ago. I had heard the news earlier. Unfortunately, it was spoiled for me, but still a fun match to watch. So,
yeah, absolutely. And just one more time highlighting Layla Edwards, like you said, making history, the curling matchup, just a lot of great stuff there. I got to watch some cool events today too. I may not have been as versed as you. I did have to take some time. Obviously, I was doing conversations with Eli Moon, my guy DFG Soul, and we caught up even more so after, we got off air. Just haven't seen him in person in a long time. So it was cool there. But I did get to see the men's sprint with them on the skis and them sprinting. And I don't know if I would ever be able to do that Olympic level way. But I think you give me enough practice, Chad. I think I could get going. I think that might be my competition. But that was cool to see. Papa Moon likes watching the luge when they just start flying around the dang thing. That was cool. But yeah, I'm starting to embrace it more and more. We talked yesterday about like the disconnect of the Olympics and generations and things like that. But I think it's gotten a little bit more fun over the days to watch and stuff. And just, I mean, honestly, it's something just to be able to relax, watch with Papa Moon, and not get mad. It's not a hometown team. We're rooting for the USA, obviously, but we're not mad if we see. At least I'm not mad if I see a cool story come out of a different country, winning. I mean, can't win them all, I guess, and I'm sure somebody's gonna absolutely roast me for saying that. But I mean, the Olympics are about like seeing the cool stories, and you look at it with like the NBA, especially the NBA, but like the NFL trying to go, and expanding their global reach and things like that. I mean, I think it's just cool to see great stories in sports, and the Olympics are highlighting that.
Yeah, and we started yesterday with the Giannis video that literally talked about, that not winning does not equate to failure, right? Just you can have a great season and come up just short. It doesn't necessarily mean that you failed, right? Especially if you're taking steps forward toward a championship, whatever it is. May have a young team, think of like, Philadelphia, the 76ers, and we were told to trust the process, right? Like every year they got a little bit better. And people were, people clowned on them because they weren't winning championships. And well, I mean, it takes time to build something. And yeah, sometimes you never get there. I mean, it's really hard. Only one team wins a championship. Only one person in each event wins a gold medal, or one team. It's not easy, right? If it was easy, a lot of people would do it. So it just, I don't think it's that much of a shame to win a silver or bronze or come in 6th at the Olympics, or, people act like, oh, that's hilarious. They went to the Olympics and came in 10th. Okay, well, that you understand they're the 10th best in the world, right? Like they finished 10th out of like 40,000 people who were trying to qualify for the Olympics. So it's still pretty good.
Absolutely. I agree with you. And we'll keep an eye on our Winter Olympics discussion. I will say this. We're about to take a quick pause. When we come back, we're going to do Tuesday Top 5, the debut of that segment. And we're going to talk about our top 5 running backs, me and Chad. We're going to come up with lists together, basically putting together our top 5. And then you debate in the comments. You let us know on social media. Heck, you have our handles when it pops back up here just in a moment. Boom, there's our handles. You can let us know if you agree or you disagree. But I think we feel pretty good about our top 5 running backs, Chad. I feel good. I think. Yeah.
I feel pretty good.
Yeah.
We got an honorable mention in there. We can talk about that when we get to it. But yeah, I feel pretty good about the top 5 we put together.
I feel good. I don't think there'll be any complaints from anybody out there watching.
No one, everyone should agree. That's how sports usually works. When you talk about, everyone always agrees. So looking forward to that.
I'm with it. I love it. All right. Here's what I'm going to ask you. I want you to think about this. When we come back from break, I'm going to ask you a question. Do you think you could do this? Now, we play this on Main Event. We talk about all these different events. Do you think you could handle this variation of the Oklahoma drill if they asked you to be an Olympic athlete. I'm going to play this. We'll come back. This is Inside Edge Primetime with Chad Bryan to my right, your left. I'm Eli Moon, and we'll be right back here on the Inside Edge Network.
Look at this, that is textbook.
And welcome back to Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. To my right, your left is Chad Bryan. I am Eli Moon, and we have one final segment here left on this Tuesday edition of Inside Edge Primetime. Chad, are you doing all right over there, my friend? I know you saw all those Oklahoma drills, those collisions, but I mean, what's going on over there, man?
I think first of all, I think I'm concussed just from watching that.
So you're gonna do it? You couldn't? You don't think if they asked you, this is your Olympic sport, and you get an opportunity, you want to go do that?
I mean, I would do it. I just don't know how well it would go, to be honest with you. I mean, you never know. Maybe if I get, if I get the lower position on some, I might take somebody out. I'm a big dude. But yeah, I mean, some of those guys look pretty brutal, man. I don't know. I'm not sure how far I'd get into the qualifying rounds, as they say. It looked a little rough, man.
Okay.
What about you? Would you do it?
No, I don't think so. Probably not. Probably not. I mean, I wrestled growing up, but I think that's a whole different thing. I mean, it reminds me of, like, I said this on Main Event. It reminds me of, like, they used to have in football. You put helmet to helmet, both lay down. Somebody gets the ball dropped.
Yeah.
You grab the football and you stand up, and somebody's getting tackled.
That's
and,
it.
I landed on my head one time during one of those drills, and
There you go.
yeah, so probably not going to do that.
Maybe in my 20s. I'm a different 6'3", 215 than I was when I was like 24, 25. That was a very different 6'3", 215. Same 6'3", different 215. That's very different now. So
I got you.
Maybe not anymore.
Understood. Well, hey, we have one final segment here on this Tuesday. We will be back with you tomorrow. We got off to a little bit of a tardy start. Just had a lot of stuff. We were getting late news in from the Olympics and everything. So just keep an eye on. Make sure you follow Inside Edge Net, the Inside Edge Network at Inside Edge Net on all socials. And you can get an update when we are live. And go ahead and stay locked in with us. We are your source for sports, entertainment, mental health, and everything in between. Very, very excited to go over this new segment, however, to end this Tuesday. Again, we'll be with you Wednesday, Thursday, but today is Tuesday, and it is time for the debut, Chad, here, of Tuesday Top 5 on the Inside Edge Primetime. And this edition is Top 5 running backs in honor of Kenneth Walker, the Seattle Seahawks running back, winning Super Bowl 60 MVP. Chad and I felt it was only right that we give our Inside Edge Primetime Top 5 running backs here on this Tuesday edition of Tuesday Top 5. I guess it's only going to happen on Tuesdays. That's the only edition you'll get. Anyways, Chad, would you like to start it off with our number 5 running back, or do you have any words before we get into it?
No, I think we're just going to get right into it. I think it's fair to just name our top 5, and I'm not even going to spend too much time. I mean, you guys, listen, you know who these guys are. You know why we picked them. I mean, it's going to be pretty obvious when you see the top 5. And there may be one or two people that before the break, I said everybody would agree. Maybe not everybody's going to agree, right? But I'm sure there's one or two people that you guys think of that we left off the list. Let us know if you disagree with anything. But I think this is a pretty good list. And this is this isn't like the Super Bowl commercial for the Inside Edge Network. This is real. This is our actual top 5. Let's just get into it. Number 5 is Derrick Henry, right?
Yeah.
A lot of wear and tear. A lot to be said about Derrick Henry, but I mean, first 5-6 games of the year last year were a little rough. Suddenly had some fumbling problems, but he figured it out. Under, by the way, new Browns head coach Todd Monken as the offensive coordinator in Baltimore last year. Figured it out, had a pretty good season. Eli, I don't know. I mean, Derrick Henry seems about right at 5, right? Still?
Yeah, and we had a little bit of a debate. I a few times wanted to put him as high as number 3. I know you wouldn't have allowed me to do that. So I settled for 5, but there's something to be said about Tractor Cito, Derrick Henry. And when he turns it up at the late part of the year and he's still doing it, and everybody keeps saying, when is Derrick Henry dropping off? This is the year Derrick Henry drops off. This is the year. Well, he didn't drop off again this year. He's 32 years old. He just turned 32 in January. So this will be his 32-year-old season. And I feel good about number 5. I don't think you can have a top 5 list without Derrick Henry. So we'll put him at the back end here. Fair
enough. And I think it's every year it's always the wear and tear, the yards in high school, the yards at Alabama. You can't. And he just keeps surviving it. I mean, no matter what, it just looks. I mean, he's built for this, right?
Yes.
Man, pretty amazing. All right, so that brings us to our number 4 running back, and this is obviously just right now, not of all time. Derrick Henry's not top 5 of all time. Let's pump the brakes on that, right? Top 5 right now. So our number 4 running back is Jahmyr Gibbs. I think that's fair.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, and you look at Jahmyr Gibbs, right, and he's everything that the Detroit Lions wanted when they drafted him as a top 15 round, pick rather, in the first round, in that top 15 of picks. And they were looking for somebody to complement, obviously, David Montgomery, but he's done more than that. He's really taken over that lead position, not only in the running game, but passing. Now, there's some D-Mont games you see where Montgomery will have the bulk of the carries and he goes off, but it's very rare, and it seems to just give Jahmyr Gibbs enough rest to go off for another 8-9 game stretch. And, you look at last year, 1,223 rushing yards, 13 touchdowns. I mean, just very, very impressive. And he did that in 13 games this season, Chad. So Jahmyr Gibbs, obviously one of the bright stars of the position right now. And only being 23 years old, he'll be 24 in March. I feel pretty good about putting Jahmyr Gibbs number 4. I think that's actually the perfect spot. I couldn't agree more with you on this one.
Fair enough. Well, if we're counting down, which we are, probably figured that out by now, that would take us to our number 3 running back. This is a guy who I did it again. Why do I keep doing that? I guess that's
this is a guy right here. He's gonna be number 3 on our list.
Here's a guy who likes the number 3. Like, it's a prerequisite when you're talking about football players. You have to say, "Here's a guy." You got to do it. Anyway, the following is a running back who, I mean, a lot of things changed with this certain team that's in the AFC. It had a really, really good year. Started off on fire. Fell apart toward the end a little bit and didn't really finish the way that they had hoped it would. But it wasn't because of this guy, because the effort from our number 3 running back, Jonathan Taylor, was insane, really, for the Colts. Over 1,500 yards rushing, 18 touchdowns. His last 2 seasons have been wild. I mean, 3,000 yards, almost 30 touchdowns total over the last 2 seasons. And, I mean, maybe I'm looking at Jonathan Taylor. Maybe he should have been number 2 on this list. I mean, he was really, really good for the Colts. And obviously, like I said, with some injuries, it fell apart, right?
I think, and we're going to get to number 2 here in a moment, which I think we're perfectly fine the way we did 2 and 3. I think when you look at Jonathan Taylor, and I'm a big Jonathan Taylor fan. I have him in fantasy football too, which nobody gives a shit about that. But, like, I do because I have him on my team, and he's been awesome for me. Won me a league championship, and obviously because he's very good on the football field. But we just talked about Derrick Henry at number 5, Chad, about the wear and tear on a body. Jonathan Taylor's 27, but remember, he played, a lot of downs and carried the ball a lot at the University of Wisconsin, and he's carried the ball a lot in Indianapolis. So, 27 years old right now. He just turned 27 in January. So, got a few more years, of football before he turns 30. We'll keep an eye on that. But I think Jonathan Taylor, based off what he's provided, but also keeping in mind that, it could be a faster, rather, decline for Jonathan Taylor than maybe some of these other guys. Yeah. That's why I feel good about who we have at number 2.
Fair enough. Let's go right to number 2 then. I'll let you do the honors because number 2 is
Bijan Robinson. And if you watch the Atlanta Falcons and you wonder why should I watch the Atlanta Falcons, look no further than number 7, Bijan Robinson. The guy does it all. Running the ball, catching the ball. He'll even lay a mean block out once or twice throughout the game. And I think that's very important. And the Falcons have been looking for a strong running back. Really, it feels like for quite some time. They tried the Todd Gurley experiment. They had Devontae Freeman. You just don't think of too many running backs recently that stand out for the Atlanta Falcons. But they have nailed it at every skill position. Not to venture off too far, but Drake London at receiver, Kyle Pitts at tight end. Chad, they are absolutely loaded at some of these skill positions. And Bijan Robinson is the highlight of them all. I mean, the guy is absolutely incredible. He was a phenomenon coming out of Texas, and there were some people trying to say, well, maybe it's, I think sometimes we overthink the position. We overthink the draft. We overthink all of this. Bijan Robinson, a home run pick, Chad, 1,478 rushing yards, 7 rushing touchdowns this year. I mean, he carried the ball 287 times, so obviously the Falcons trust the ball in his hands. What do you think? Are you feeling better now after we kind of break down why we have Bijan? Do you think we got it right, or are you having second thoughts now?
No second thoughts. I mean, now that I hear you say it out loud, yeah, it makes sense to me that Bijan Robinson would be a little ahead of Jonathan Taylor. Yeah, I get it. Taylor's had a really, really good couple seasons, though. And just Daniel Jones going down, man, that whole team crumbled. And I guess if Jonathan Taylor had been able to carry them to the playoffs, then he'd maybe be a little bit higher on our list. But number 3 is okay. And yeah, I like Bijan Robinson at number 2. That works for me.
Yeah, and you know what? Just before we go pivot to number 1 here, you look at it. He's 24 years old. He just turned 24, right? So it's like, and he just had his best season. And now I know they're getting Stefanski. Kevin Stefanski is the new Atlanta Falcons head coach, and obviously we know him here in Cleveland, and we have our different opinions on him. But we'll keep an eye on what his offense looks like for Bijan Robinson. So I'm very curious to see that. But Chad, I mean, we have 4 great names. I think when you look at this, there's only one name that's missing. Would you like to go ahead and just let the fine people out there, our Inside Edge Network family, know who number 1 is on the Tuesday top 5 of running backs?
I would love to, and I think it's pretty obvious. I really wanted to go Al Bundy at Polk High here, but I didn't do it. It's Christian McCaffrey. I mean, for me, it's the total. It's just like it's the rushing yards. It's the receiving out of the backfield. It's everything that Christian McCaffrey. I mean, he runs with a little bit of power. He's really fast, right? Like he's just kind of got he's like that full mix of everything that you really want, and the perfect ideal running back. Sometimes it has some issues staying on the field for sure. That would be my only knock against him. But man, when he's healthy, he's absolutely still as good. He's as good as it gets in the NFL.
Yeah, he truly is. And, he even talked about after the season, after they had lost in the divisional round to the Seahawks, that, it was a tough season. It was very taxing on him with everything trying to stay healthy. I mean, one of his healthiest seasons since he's been in the league. And, yeah, like you said, if he's not healthy, that's the only way you keep Christian McCaffrey from impacting your game plan on defense. But he has been absolutely efficient since he's been in the league. A showstopper, a superstar, every word you could think of. And, he needs a Super Bowl. I mean, when we talk about McCaffrey, now the next thing is, can he get a Super Bowl? Because, when we start talking about Hall of Famers and things, I don't think we're crazy for starting to talk that discussion. McCaffrey, starting to get more wear and tear than any of these names I feel like that we've talked about on this list. And I think now it's starting to lean towards, okay, how do you stack the accolades? You've been in discussion for MVP. You've been close to a Super Bowl. Can you win it? But clearly he wins number 1. And Inside Edge Primetime's Tuesday top 5 of running backs. We did not argue that. That was, I think we both put McCaffrey and we're like, okay, cool, we're on the same page.
Yeah, it just is what it is right now. And we had an honorable mention. We talked about, we both discussed Saquon Barkley. I don't know. I just don't know if I'd put him top 5 right now. I feel like that whole Eagles offense was just really weird. It was kind of disjointed last year. I don't know. Pretty good running back. I don't know. I'd put some other guys up there before him, I think.
Yeah, and originally I had reached out. I said Saquon even in the top 3 or 4. We started talking about it more. I just felt with the 2,000-yard season, the rushing, phenom he is. But yeah, is Philly going to get it together? And I guess it's kind of with the same argument we had for Jonathan Taylor, the wear and tear. Why we put Bijan above Jonathan Taylor?
Yeah.
You look at with Saquon Barkley, are the Eagles going to get it together? Are they going to be in a position? Sean Mannion, he's the new offensive coordinator, I believe now for the Eagles. Is he going to be able to right the ship? Is he going to get A.J. Brown to get along with Jalen Hurts? Is Saquon Barkley going to look like 2 years ago as opposed to this past season?
Yeah.
A lot of questions there. But I'll tell you this, if they can get the chemistry back in order in Philadelphia, we might be looking at this list, in a year from now and be like, man, maybe we should at least put him in the top 5. But a lot of questions to be answered out there in Philadelphia.
Hey, it's a fluid list, right? That's why we have things like Photoshop, right? We can change the list.
Yeah, We'll wipe this video.
Might not be next month's top 5, right? You never know.
Exactly. And you know what, Chad? Just to add to that point, we'll wipe the video. If we're wrong, we'll just wipe the video. By then we'll have plenty of shows, so they won't miss this one. But,
never existed. Never said it.
Oh my goodness. A lot of great stuff here. I appreciate everybody tuning in here. We're gonna go ahead and just kick it to our final thoughts on this Tuesday evening. Chad, would you like to start? Do you have any final thoughts for the people out there?
I'm looking forward to finishing up the Olympics. There have been so many stories. It feels like sometimes the Olympics get a little bit front loaded, right? They got to keep you interested. Sometimes when it starts to wind down, we get to some of the sports that I think I relate to even less. We talked about how little I relate to in the Winter Olympics. It's comical how little I would actually be good at. But at least I know my limits, right? But yeah, I'm looking forward to finishing up the Olympics. The NFL season is over, like we talked about last night. It's a crazy time in sports for me. So I'm glad the Olympics are here this year. That's a good segue into kind of taking me into the rest of the college basketball season. Miami of Ohio, we talked about them last night. They're 24-0. Can they finish the season undefeated? I would love to see what happens there if they run through the MAC and win the MAC tournament. It'd be fun. Yeah, that's about it. Just gonna use the Olympics to transition into the end of college basketball, all the March Madness stuff, all the conference tournaments, leading into what I cannot wait to cover is the first round, all the buzzer beaters from that first, Wednesday or Thursday, Friday, whatever it is of the tournament. That's going to be a lot of fun this year. So looking forward to that. Was it Wednesday, Thursday, or Thursday, Friday? I don't even know anymore.
Well, I'll tell you this: if
I don't know what day today is. So
if it's a Wednesday or Thursday, we'll be here in the
Yes.
evening. So at least you know where you need to be at 10 o'clock. With that being said, my final thoughts are Justin Verlander signed with the Detroit Tigers, and though it isn't I almost said Justin Timberlake. If it isn't Justin Verlander, it is, it's not him in his early or late 20s or anything like that. It's not the phenom we once remembered striking fear into some of the Cleveland Indians at the time lineups. But anytime I see Justin Verlander coming back to the AL Central and playing with the Tigers, I don't like it. And it's not because I don't like Justin Verlander per se. I just don't want to see Justin Verlander pitch against the Cleveland Guardians anymore. Unless it's like, I know they play every team now, but like, okay, if it happens to line up and you have to play, okay, maybe postseason, okay. I don't want to have to play Justin Verlander more than we have to. And, we talked about, Casey Mize, you look at Jack Flaherty, you look at some of these guys, and obviously the big dog on the yard, which is Tariq Skubal. Yeah. But Verlander being the fourth or fifth guy in that lineup or that pitching rotation for the Tigers is something to keep an eye on. I will say that. Will it, I know you brought up, Chad, when we talked off air, that Verlander wasn't necessarily spectacular this past year.
No, but I forgot he actually did end the season pretty well. I went back and looked at some of his just start by start. Yeah. He actually, his last 9 starts, I think he had an ERA under 2. So maybe it was a little premature of me to say that, he might not last the whole, whatever. He actually did end pretty well. So maybe that's not so comforting as a Guardians fan. But listen, I think, again, I haven't looked this up. I'd have to pull up the numbers. I think the Guardians have traditionally hit Justin Verlander fairly well.
Yeah, and he is 42 years old. He signs a 1-year deal with the Tigers. And that was the report. I actually, saw it through MLB.com. That's where I'm reading it straight through. But, he signed that 1-year deal. They say, that's where he's going to put his Hall of Fame cap is the Detroit Tigers. And the Astros fans are all out saying, well, what about us?
Yeah.
And regardless of all the who we should be a Hall of Fame under, what team, I don't want to see Justin Verlander more than we have to, and we have to see Justin Verlander.
I get it.
So it should be another eventful AL Central. It seems like the Guardians and Tigers are gearing up. The Guardians' big move was signing Jose Ramirez, and all right. So with that being said, just a reminder, by then, by February 18th, that is, we should have some Guardians updates in terms of maybe they signed a few other people. Got some players in here. Our Inside Edge Guardians preview show on February 18th at 10 p.m. Eastern time. That is with Chad and I, Rob, and Autumn. Of course, Rob from Main Event, Autumn from Jersey Chasers. So we're going to go over all that. Got a lot of awesome stuff planned for that show. I don't know who's bringing the food, but not me. Yes, with that being said, I'm very excited for that, Chad. A lot of great stuff.
Yeah.
And, I think we're both kind of getting over like the change from cold to nice. I think we're both like, whoa. So Wednesday.
Or back to cold.
Yeah. We'll keep an eye on that.
Not that cold. Not frigid cold, but it's going to be
careful. We got to be careful. We talk cold and it starts getting real cold here. So we got to. Somebody said snow a few hours ago, and I got really upset.
Yeah. Well, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do? Hey, until then, Chad Bryan to my right, your left. I am Eli Moon. This is Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. We'll see you tomorrow around 10 o'clock, maybe a few minutes tardy, but go ahead and follow Inside Edge Network, Inside Edge Net on all the socials, and you'll know when we're going live. We'll see you tomorrow for another episode of Inside Edge Primetime. Stay safe. We love you. Yeah, see you tomorrow.